Welcome, everyone. And I don't know where you're tuning into, if you are on YouTube or you are on our social. My name is Kim Pagano. I am the host of the Kim Pagano Show, the brighter side of life and business. And usually the way we run our life is the way we run our business. And I am joined by two amazing men. And of course, Norman Thatcher is one of our sponsors here. He's been on our show many, many times, probably know a lot about him. And of course, he is the facilitator and CEO of Tnt Anger Management, located in Westlake, California, Ventura. And it's probably like Ventura, Los Angeles, but anyways, and you do nationwide, people from all over the place. And of course, Scott Barella is here from Cornerstone, located in Simi Valley, and he is a therapist and does similar things, but a little bit different. He is really specializing in court approved, and we're going to find out a little bit more and just really be insightful about where we don't want to end up sometimes, right? But, you know, as I've heard before, is good things happen to, or bad things happen to good people too. And so we really just want to give them an outlet and a place that they can really have and use this knowledge to, one, share with anybody that's listening, or share with anybody that's maybe going through a really hard time in our life. Our world is in a kind of a crazy place right now. And so I love bringing value to our world. And that's what I love doing. So Norman Thatcher and Scott Barella, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you, Kim. It's been many shows we've done together, and let's just keep pushing forward.
There you go. I love it. So Norman, I'm going to actually kind of give it to you and talk to us a little bit about what you specialize in, and then we'll move over to Scott and talk with him.
Well, I'm from Tnt Anger Management Services, and basically my focus is anger management education, stress management education, mental health issues, and just communication skills. So my practice is basically to give a safe landing spot for people in the community and nationwide. If they're having these issues, to give me a call for a free consultation, and hopefully in lengths of treatment time, we will help people progress positive in those areas.
I love it. And Scott, how about you?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me on your show. I'm a big fan and I appreciate this invitation. And Norm, thank you for offering me this opportunity on your spot. And I just wanted to say, yeah, Cornerstone has been around for 27 years. I'm a licensed MFT in California, marriage family therapist. I've been specializing in the area of court-approved counseling for that long, 27 years. I had the good fortune of being a guest expert on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Also was on the Dr. Phil Show, worked with the producers for many of their episodes. I also taught at the university level at Cal State Northridge and Channel Islands in the Masters in Psych program. And I've had over 5,000 clients, and most of those have been in the area of court, either family court or criminal court cases. So as you know, with life, sometimes things happen. We find ourselves in a predicament, whether it's getting divorced or having a charge brought against us that we now have a consequence for, right? We have to change our behavior some way, right? So the courts have decided that we're not just going to put people in jail, we're going to give them some educational opportunities, right? One of which is psychoeducational classes like anger management, domestic violence treatment. Sometimes when you're getting divorced, you go through a co-custody parenting class where you learn how to communicate positively for the benefit of the children with your ex-partner. So those are the programs that I do at Cornerstone and have done for many years. So I'm, again, happy to join you guys today in this segment.
Well, thank you so much, Scott. So much to talk about. So I know, Norman, we were talking about really sports and some of the things going on in the world of sports. And, we've experienced a lot of people. It's a joyous family time that we all like to go there. But some of the times run into problems where, you know, people have actually been very seriously hurt. And of course, that really brings up anger in the wrong places. And so let's just start there, Norman, and talk to us about your thoughts on that.
Okay. Well, so to catch up and going forward, I guess we should give a little backtrack. Last show I did with you, Kim, we talked about agitation at sporting events. Why does it happen? Can it be prevented? Does society and sponsors want it to stop? So with Super Bowl, just around the corner, I thought this would be a perfect segue into talking about this coming up event a week from Sunday. It's one of the nation's biggest events, and I hope everybody stays safe, and hopefully there's no incidents of malice at the Super Bowl. It is in Las Vegas, so that just kind of adds that extra little special element to it. But with the biggest segment of sporting events happening in less than 9 to 10 days, I just wanted to kind of overlay again why does things happen at sporting events. And we did mention alcohol. We mentioned the pride of each team. The teams that are going, the 49ers and the Chiefs, are two of the nation's best football teams. So there's going to be a lot of pride going for each side. And hopefully with that, there's a good game, but no events start as far as mischief. So I added Scott because he has an expertise with therapy and with probation. And if things do go astray, what can possible viewers at the game have consequence towards if something like that was to happen? And he does work with the NFL, I believe. So I don't know if he wanted to kind of segue into that and give his knowledge in that area.
Sure, Scott, why don't you just take it from there?
Sure. Well, I do think it's as a professional football fan and someone who's worked with NFL players as part of my practice, I definitely have some views on this topic. I love the sport of football. In fact, I played since I was a young boy, and I was sharing with Kim earlier before we started that as a child, I used to go to Thousand Oaks. Cal Lutheran was the summer practice field for the Dallas Cowboys. And as a boy, I used to walk on the field, carry the helmets for the players, get autographs. It was almost so family-like. We could literally walk on the field with the players. And of course, that built my passion for the players and the NFL from there. I still remember Roger Staubach signing an autograph for me when I was a boy, and it was fond memories. That being said, the NFL has amazingly progressed, and there's been a lot of billions of dollars spent on professional football over the years. And of course, salaries are in the many, many millions per year annually. And, there's a lot of riding on these games, and the fan base is very passionate about their teams, right? So sometimes what happens is that passion, plus you fuel it with alcohol, you fuel it with your own personal feelings of anger toward life or people in general. And if you have a conflict that sparks up, whether it's with another fan or with somebody within your own group, that can boil over into an explosive moment, right? So, I mean, we've seen people get thrown over balconies at stadiums and get very seriously injured. We've had fights in parking lots. We all know about the Dodger fans that attacked a Giant fan in this area, right? That's baseball. But we know that these things can boil over, especially when people don't consume alcohol responsibly, right? The family dynamic is also interesting when people are watching the game at home, right? You could have the desire, to have a fun Super Bowl party, right? Lots of people have Super Bowl parties, right? But again, if something boils over, somebody says something wrong or somebody rubs somebody the wrong way, plus their alcohol infused anger, they can have a big fight. And it is true, people do get arrested during Super Bowl parties or at Super Bowl games. That is, in fact, a possibility and has occurred. I've had clients who came to me and said, the reason I'm here is because of Super Bowl party, right? So
Yeah.
it does occur. It's not a myth, but other events are also sparking this type of animosity, right? You also have Valentine's Day coming up, right? Now everybody thinks of Valentine's Day as a lovely time between
I was just gonna
couples,
say, isn't that all
and
about love?
it's all about love. But again,
Right.
there's a lot of expectations that go with what you're supposed to do on that day. And if you don't deliver or you do something inappropriate, hence more anger could bubble over into domestic situations, right? So we see a lot of domestic violence type cases around either sporting events or other events. Holidays is another big one. Holiday parties, whether it's with family or other events, could spark up some anger. And again, people need to have tools. That's what we do in our program. We teach them tools, and I think Norman does as well, tools to manage the emotions that come around.
Love it. I love it. So Norman, back on you. What are the tools that can help people so that they don't end up in either one of your chair, first of all? I know that you're both really incredible, but we don't want to be there. But we know that there is that you both have, obviously tools that can help everyone.
Well, I think one advantage right now is this is a scheduled time. It's a proactive event. We know the date, we know the time it's going to happen, we know when it's going to start. So I think that gives us an advantage to other things like road rage, where in a split second there might be somebody getting cut off. Obviously, that was not planned. So my tools would be, hey, make a safe plan, have a good time with your family, maybe have some food, a good time. But plan your alcohol maybe to some limitations of being the host at the the house or wherever you're at, and say, hey, you know what, we're having a good time. Let's leave it at that. And when people are leaving, instead of just saying, okay, everybody just take off at the same time, maybe, I don't know, somebody monitor the people as they're leaving your house, to say, hey, you know what, are you okay to drive? Obviously, we want you to get home safe. So I think just planning, because we know that the time of the event, it gives us a big advantage, rather than it's just an impulsive thing that just happened, like a car accident or something that's totally unplanned.
I love that. I love that. Scott, your thoughts?
Yeah, tools we like to teach with regard to any type of what I call anger buildup, or some type of critical moment, right? So that's kind of that fork in the road moment where you're about to do or say something to somebody that you might regret, right? So when you're in that heat of the moment, what you can feel from your body, you start to get that intense buildup, pressure in your shoulders, clenching your fists, grinding your teeth, heart rate's racing, thoughts are racing as well about how angry I am about what so and so just did or said. That's where you need to take a timeout. Timeout is where, as an adult, we say, this isn't a good moment. I don't want to engage that person. I'm going to walk away. And that's the number one tool in our program for managing those moments and those emotions, is to just take a step outside. Even as little as 15, 20 minutes to cool down can really help the situation.
Love that. I love that. Norman, let's see. So Norman, is that the same approach that you have? You're on mute too, Norman, but if you can change that, there we go. Is that the same approach you have? And I love that because, I mean, as children and having grandchildren, timeout is a pretty big thing. I think everybody knows it. And so it's asking yourself to be on timeout. It's like self-awareness, right?
Correct,
And
yes.
I think that's so cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, to answer your question, Kim, yeah, I agree with Scott 100%. That's the trick to finding your physical symptoms of, hey, I'm getting heated. Also listening to others, adults around you. These are adults that are primarily going to be at this event, watching this event, whether you're at home. So one of the other things is also, you might have a split household. half is going for Kansas City, half is going for San Francisco. You might have a rumble literally in your own living room between families and friends and just neighbors getting together. So do you know, to put people in timeout in a game like this, you know, again, if there's one suggestion, maybe there's one adult that's not drinking that can kind of oversee this event for 3 hours and make sure that even your loved ones, neighbors aren't literally having a throwdown, because again, the ownership of these teams and the pride of these viewers could be something that you have to manage as adults. And I've seen house parties that are supposed to be simple Super Bowl parties end up in fights. And my wife and we just left the event. So that's what we did. So I would hope I hope not every single person in these events are intoxicated, and somebody can kind of be the leader and taking control of a safe environment and an event.
I love that. Actually, it kind of just resonated with me because, you know, if somebody's drinking, there's you know, everybody decides who's going to not drink so that they're the one that's going to thrive, right? So we do that in that situation. When we had COVID, okay, our world got a little divided. And so there was people that were getting vaccines, not getting vaccines. They're, you know, in with our politics, we're divided. So it doesn't, you know, surprise me that we're divided in our, you know, sports either. So what we need to do is really to be able to like work around that. And I love that. What a simple thing to do a timeout. Maybe everybody needs to start a party with like, this is the timeout chair. Everybody is aware of it, you know? And kind of, you know, adding that.
I did have a question for Scott, and I don't know if this is a rumor or a fact, but I've heard through the years of being a 60-year-old sports fan that Super Bowl Sunday is actually the #1 single day that domestic violence is at the #1 peak. Is that true?
No, that's a myth.
Okay.
I think it was originally targeted for PR purposes as that to bring better awareness to domestic violence. And as you know, the NFL has really embraced different mental health issues. They've embraced other topics, and domestic violence certainly was one of them. And I would say that again, it was a focal point, but it wasn't a statistical fact. Okay. So statistically, the holiday time is much worse than the football party. Okay. So when you're having the heavy drinking with family, and keep in mind with holidays, just to get a little into that, sometimes you're seeing these people for the first time in a long time, but there's history that comes with the person to the party.
That's right.
And there's animosity that's unresolved at that event. Now, Super Bowl parties could be that way too. If you haven't seen a relative in a while and you decide we're all going to get together for Super Bowl, again, the idea is what baggage is coming in the door? What family dynamics are we going to have to address? And add a little alcohol to that mix, and it could be explosive, right?
Right.
So I would somewhat argue, Norm, that almost any big event that involves those components, whether it's a Super Bowl party, a Christmas get together, a Thanksgiving celebration, an anniversary party, 4th of July, you name it, could be explosive parties given those components, right? But as a football fan, I can tell you Super Bowl got a bad rap on that one.
There you go. I love it.
Okay.
I love that answer. We are actually, this has been incredible, and I would love to have both of you back. We are like down to our minutes here. So Norman, give out a number that you can be reached and that our fans and our people that are watching, so they don't go into timeout and have.
Sure. I'm still at 818-264-6255. And my website is www.tntams.com.
There you go. And Scott, how about you?
Scott Barella, 805-390-6384. Our website is Cornerstone, S like Sam, B like Victory.com. So cornerstonesv.com.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your expertise, both of you, here on the Kim Pagano Show, the brighter side of life and business. And of course, we've got lots more, so keep following us.